Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare from 2007 starts with a short briefing about the civil war in Russia and Khalid Al-Assad, one of the most powerful men in the Middle East who might be a threat. Soap McTavish is on his first day of service for 22nd SAS unit. He completes his training in Creighton Hill and meets Captain Price and the other members of the Squad Bravo team. Bravo is sent to Bering Strait to secure the package that is transported on a Russian ship. They take the bridge and then go to search for the package. When they find it, they get intel that 2 MiGs are heading their way, so they need to quickly evacuate. But the enemy airstrike is quicker, ship gets hit and starts sinking. Luckily everyone is okay, but they need to get out before the ship sinks. Led by Captain Price, they manage to get out at the last second and jump into the chopper. And as I remember, Price died in the first Call of Duty game during a similar mission, so let me know in the comment section, can we consider this some kind of an Easter egg? President Al-Fulani is captured by terrorists working for Khalid Al-Assad, and that's the start of a bloody revolution. President is transported to the town center and executed on live television. Meanwhile, SAS is sent to Russia to rescue an informant who got captured and is waiting for execution. They join Sergeant Kamarov and help him to recover a nearby village, which is under attack by B-21 mortars. Informant is in one of the houses, so the team needs to go straight to the eye of the thunderstorm. But they manage to find Agent Nikolai, secure him and fly away with a chopper. On the board of the chopper, Nikolai asks if the Americans have already attacked Al-Assad and comments that they are making a huge mistake on this one. So time to switch to USMC Sergeant Paul Jackson, who is on a mission to capture Al-Assad. He is dropped in the city and goes through streets looking for Al-Assad. His team takes over the TV station building that was broadcasting his speech. Turns out it was just a recording and he's not even there. After heavy fights, US Marines are pushing into the city. Alpha Company tank got stuck on the way, so Jackson's team is sent to help them. They go through the buildings and help to destroy enemy tanks on the bridge. Then they need to find and take down the ZPU so the air support could be sent by command. Choppers do the job and the tank can be fixed by engineers. But the team needs to buy them some time, so they take defensive positions for now and try to protect the tank. Meanwhile, Nikolai is taken to Hamburg by the SAS team led by Captain Price. But while flying there, they get shot down by a missile and machine crashes. McTavish wakes up and it turns out 2 of his mates are dead. Command is sending a transport to pick them up, but for now, they need to keep a low profile as the enemy is looking for them. They engage the enemy in nearby farms and find RPG, so Soap shoots the chopper down. But that's not the end of the trouble, because soon they are approached by a tank. But luckily the headquarters supports the unit with AC-113. So now while the team is moving, the plane is covering them from the enemy. That way Price and the rest reach the helicopter that takes them to the base. Back in the Middle East, Marines are pushing Al-Assad forces back and trying to take back the presidential palace. There are some heavy fights on the streets and Jackson is right in the middle. Meanwhile, command reports that they have Al-Assad's positions, so Jackson and his unit is sent to capture him. But according to SAS intel, he might have a Russian warhead, so they have to be extra careful and really fast. Most of his anti-aircraft defense systems were destroyed, but there are still many soldiers with RPGs on rooftops, so that won't be an easy landing for Jackson and his teammates. And on the ground it doesn't get much easier, as they are facing heavy resistance from enemy infantry. Turns out that the SEAL team has located a nuclear device at Al-Assad's palace. Team is ordered to retreat to the safe zone before the nuke is verified. While flying to another part of the city, a fellow chopper gets shot down by enemy, so they ask for a permission to proceed search and rescue. It's very risky because if the nuke blows, they are still in the impact zone. But the team manages to reach Captain Pelayo, who survived the crash, and rescue her before enemy could capture her. While they try to fly away, a nuclear bomb explodes and the wave crushes the helicopter. Jackson wakes up and tries to crawl out of the helicopter. The city is ruined and covered in dust and smoke. He manages to get out on the street, but a few seconds later, he dies due to the radiation. And we are informed that US forces lost many soldiers that day. Nikolai reports that Al-Assad would never sacrifice himself, so he probably was not even there when the nuke exploded. He reveals to Captain Price that he has a safe house in Azerbaijan. Sass locates Al-Assad in the village and he is protected by ultra-nationalists. With air support, the Sass team manages to secure the village and finds Al-Assad in one of the buildings. While he is interrogated by Price, his cell phone rings. Captain Price picks it up and after hearing the caller's words, instantly shoots Al-Assad in the head. Turns out it was Zakhaev. 15 years ago, Price was sent to Ukraine, where arms dealers were retrieving nuclear materials from the Chernobyl power plant and selling them on the black market. Sass was sent to assassinate one of them, Zakhaev. Under the command of Captain Macmillan, they sneaked through the suburbs of Pripyat, though the remains of the city were full of armed soldiers. They reach the city center and take their sniper positions, waiting for the target. Zakhaev arrives for the trade and Price gets a clear shot chance on him and takes it. But they are spotted by a helicopter. Price takes it down, shooting with sniper rifle, but the duo still needs to quickly get out as dozens of enemy soldiers are searching for them right now. Another helicopter approaches them and though they manage to shoot it down, this time Captain Macmillan unluckily gets stuck under the wreckage. Price carries him to the square with a Ferris wheel. Then he puts Macmillan on a sniper spot and he plants some claymore mines around the area. They have to defend their position until the helicopter picks them up, but luckily they manage to survive few waves of enemy infantry until the rescue team arrives and takes them back to safety. Back in the present day, 8 hours passed since Al-Assad was killed. Sass needs to deal with a counteroffensive on the village they took earlier. They planted some explosive and the enemy thinks that they are actually larger force than they really are, so they are approaching slowly. But that doesn't change the fact they are very outnumbered. And soon, the tanks are starting to approach them. Soap uses the javelins to stop the enemy tanks. But there's more bad news for them, since the transport that is supposed to pick them up can't land on the hill, so they set up a new extraction point closer to the bottom to avoid being locked on by the enemy. It's not easy, but somehow the team manages to make it to the chopper and fly away. Turns out Zakhaev is alive and Price only got his hand back in the Ukraine. This guy is Zakhaev's son and commander of the ultra-nationalist forces. Price's plan is to catch him and he will lead them to his father. Bravo team takes over the nearby enemy post and changes into their uniforms. When an enemy convoy approaches the post, they ambush it. Soap is on the tower when enemy reinforcements arrive and destroy it. After he falls, he briefly spots Zakhaev's son arriving at the place, but the guy realizes that they are hunting for him and escapes to a nearby town, hiding in an apartment building. Sass takes over the building and corners Zakhaev's son on the roof. When they try to disarm him, he shoots himself, so there goes the plan. Then we hear Zakhaev speaking about the degradation of his leaders and asks US and British forces to leave Russia or suffer consequences. And by consequences, he means nuclear missiles. Sass is dropped near the launch facility, so the advanced team can breach the electrified perimeter. They meet an American sniper team on the way, but when they shake hands, they see a nuclear missile being launched in the horizon, and another one right after. Now, Command is working their ass off on getting the abort codes from Russians, but Salt and others rush for the facility. After a heavy battle, they are able to break the defense and get underground. They need to quickly get into the launch room. They have 10 minutes to stop the missiles before they hit targets, and they are heading for the main cities on the United States East Coast. Bravo team reaches the control room and Soap puts the abort codes into the computer, destroying the warheads in flight. Still, they need to escape the place and the enemy forces are all over them. They take the elevator to the surface, but the primary extraction point has been compromised, so they need to go to the secondary one. They escape with jeeps being chased by enemy military trucks filled with soldiers trying to shoot them, plus some helicopters show up and rocket them from the sky. One of the helicopters destroys the bridge and the jeep crashes, so Price and the rest are running on their foot, but they got cornered by enemy. At one point, Soap gets thrown on the ground by a nearby explosion. He sees his friend getting shot, while he's trying to cover him, and Price is also wounded on the ground. Then Zakhaev himself shows up and shoots one of the Bravo team members in the head. Now he is approaching Soap, but all of a sudden reinforcements arrive and shoot his helicopter. Explosion distracts him for a second and Price passes a gun to Soap, who uses the moment to shoot Zakhaev in the head. Well played, Bravo team. Then Kamaru shows up and extracts Price and Soap back to the safety. Russian government released a statement saying it was just a nuclear missile test. And that's how the game ends.